Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Cassandra and today I'm doing a special class. This is all about twists. So I've been on YouTube for almost 10 years now, and one of the earliest yoga classes that I put on my channel was this twisting class. So I've decided to revamp it and redo the sequence in a new and updated format, because really if you go to my first videos, you'll notice how far I have really come in terms of production value. But it was still a really good sequence, so I wanted to redo it for you. I have tweaked it a little bit just because the way I used to teach 10 years ago is a little bit different to how I teach now. But really, this is all about spinal twists. So really deep rotation. This is definitely an intermediate level practice, and I would recommend having one block. I know I am definitely going to be using that block for a few of the poses. So let's get started just in Balasana, child's pose. You can have your knees together or apart, so really any variation of this pose that you prefer. Just so that we can find length before we start to twist, really try to stretch out through the sides of your waist, walking the hands forward without shrugging the shoulders up. So keep them down away from your ears, and then bring forehead down to the mat. Try to settle in the pose here. And focusing how on your inhale, you can feel your rib cage expand front to back as well as side to side. And when you exhale, it's almost like this corset action where you're knitting in and bringing the rib cage closer in together. And at the same time, finding this activity and engagement also through your belly. So as you send that breath down low, imagine that you can balloon up not only through your lower belly, but even breathing through your lower back and through the sides of your waist. And when you exhale, you're knitting all of that together, kind of tightening it in throughout the midline. And eventually we want to pair the upper body and the lower body together with the breath. So filling up the rib cage, the lower belly, the entire back, and exhale to bring it in. You can stretch your arms further out in front of you, come up onto your fingertips, lift the elbows up, really extend out long, stretching through your arms and shoulders. And we'll come up into a tabletop pose. Rather than doing cat and cow the traditional way with flexion and extension of the spine, we're going to do it side to side. So as you inhale, you'll just hold in this neutral position. And on the exhale, think of bringing your right shoulder and your right hip bone to touch. So I'm lengthening the left side of my body. This is more like a side bend. Inhale back through to center, and exhale, side bend through the other way. So just stretching out the sides of our waist, inhale, and exhale. Back through to center, push into your fingertips and knuckles, exhale, left shoulder to left hip, once more on each side. Last one. Coming back through to center, let's find thread the needle. So right arm stretches all the way up to the sky, big open twist. And then exhale, this would be a closed twist as you thread that right arm underneath you, dropping shoulder and ear to the mat. I'm gonna stretch my left arm up overhead and push into both arms. You're welcome to hang out where you are. If you'd like to intensify this, you're going to reach back through that left leg and extend it up towards the sky. So making one big diagonal line from your left hand all the way down to your left toes. Keep wrapping that left hip down and using the power of your glutes to get that leg up a little higher. Let's bring our left knee back down, bring your left hand back in so you can push into the floor, unwrap and re-extend to that open twist. See if it feels a little bit different. Before coming back, tabletop pose, second side, left arm up. And exhale, thread it through. Shoulder and ear carefully lower down, and you can straighten your right arm up overhead. Get a solid base through that right palm. This will help with your balance. And if you'd like, this time it's your right leg that's going to lift up. And it's totally normal if you feel like one side feels stronger than the other. I know for me, this one always feels like I'm a little bit less stable, so I have to work on it a little more. So it's nice to just be aware of those asymmetries so that you can work on them a little more. Try not to hold your breath. One more deep breath here. And very carefully bring that knee back down with control. Slide that right hand back in. Push and lift yourself up. Left arm up overhead. And release. Let's find downward facing dog. Walk your hands a couple inches past your shoulders, tuck the toes, and lift your hips up and back. We're just going to engage core strength a little bit more here. So from this downward dog, just shift forward into plank pose, and we're gonna hold for a few breaths. You're welcome to have your knees on the mat if you prefer. Try not to drop your head when you're in plank. Really lift the back of your head up. Keep some weight back in your heels. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back into your downward facing dog. And we're gonna walk our feet forward to the top of the mat, finding our ragdoll fold. So you can keep your feet about hip width distance apart, maybe bend your knees. You can hold on to your elbows and maybe just sway a little side to side, really letting it go. Relax your neck. Maybe turn your head a little bit. Just no tension in the upper body here. And let's release the hands down towards the mat. Bend your knees a little bit more so you can push into your heels to roll all the way up to stand, inch by inch. We're going to come into Utkatasana, our chair pose. I'm going to do this one with my big toes touching, heels an inch apart as I bend so that my thighs are hugging in. If this is too much or feels bad for your knees, you can keep your feet hip width distance apart. And we're going to have hands at the heart for this one. Rock your weight back into your heels as you sink down low. So tailbone is lengthening down, lower body is hugging in. Push your palms towards one another and initiate your twist from the lower belly. Rotate over to the right and see if you can bring your left elbow to that right thigh. What we don't want is for that left knee to have splayed forward, shifted back so that your hips are in line. This is an upper body twist. The hips are not twisting. Inhale back through to center, and right away we're gonna go twist to the other side. So realign the hips and the knees, and then twist right elbow towards your left knee. Press the shoulders down and away from your ears. Keep pushing your hands in towards one another. One more big breath. We come all the way back up through to center and release. Shake it out. Reach your arms up overhead before folding forward. Exhale. Halfway lift, flat back, and just find downward facing dog from here. So plant the hands and step the feet back. Let's extend our right leg up towards the sky. Keep it straight and squared for this first one. So roll that right hip down. Big breath in as you lengthen out through those right toes. Easy twist, right foot steps between the hands to the top of the mat. You can have a block under your left hand if the floor feels far away here. Otherwise, reach your right arm up to the sky. Only looking up if it's okay for your neck. So my hips stay neutral. I'm really rotating through the spine to stack my right shoulder over my left. Bring the right fingertips down to the mat and drop your left knee to the floor, coming up into your low lunge. We're gonna add our prayer twist here. So just like what we did in chair pose, hands at the heart, lengthen tailbone down, lift up nice and tall. Option 1, you're just going to twist over to the right. Option 2, you're gonna bring that elbow to the knee, melting the hips forward and down. Try to lift your belly off of that front thigh as you push into your hands. One more deep breath in here and look down towards the floor. You can frame the front foot with both hands. Let's take our flow. Inhale, plank. Lower to your belly, exhale. Bhujangasana. Let's do actually 3 baby cobras. So push into the tops of the feet. Inhale, chin, chest, hands off the mat. Exhale down, twice more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale as high as you can go. And lower, downward facing dog, so we can repeat this sequence on the second side. Left leg stretches up towards the sky, keep it straight. So roll that left hip down. You want your kneecap and your toes and toenails to be facing down towards the mat rather than out to the side. And we'll find our easy twist. So left foot in between the hands. Right hand stays where it is, so it's underneath your shoulder. Left arm stretches up to the sky. And notice with that right shoulder, if it tends to over-rotate, really push the head of the arm bone back. Left fingertips down to the floor, drop the right knee down, come up into this low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Hands at the heart, Anjali Mudra. Either just rotate over to the left and you can hold, staying higher up from here, or you can delicately place that right elbow to your left knee and let your hips melt down a little more. Really pushing your palms in towards one another. And let's release, take your flow, inhale to plank pose and lower all the way to your belly. Again, we're gonna take those same 3 baby cobras. Push into the tops of your feet, inhale, upper body lifts up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift and release. Last one, breathe in and lower, downward facing dog. Press and lift your hips back. Relax your head, relax your neck, stretch everything out in this downward facing dog. And let's add on. So right leg rises. This time you can bend your right knee and open up your hip if you'd like. Just giving yourself a nice big thigh stretch. And we'll come into Warrior 2. Virabhajasana 2, so your right foot back to the top of the mat. Spin that back heel parallel to the shorter edge of your mat as you lift on up. So my right knee is pressing open, sinking the hips down, drawing the lower belly in. And go ahead and straighten that front leg, narrow your stance a little bit so we can come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Hips will go back, stretch your right arm all the way forward until you feel that natural point of resistance. Then you can relax your hand down and reach your left arm up. So my obliques are working to hold me here. Pushing down into the feet is what will lift you all the way back up. And we're gonna take revolved triangles. So hands on your hips. I want you to bring that back foot in a couple inches so that your foot is at a 45-degree angle rather than being parallel to the top of the mat. This is where you might want to have a block. I know I'm going to use mine. So facing hips and shoulders to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, lift and lengthen. And then as you exhale, tilt forward again until you find that natural point of resistance. Then you're gonna drop your left hand down somewhere, either to a block or down to the mat. And you can extend your right arm up towards the sky. So really big spinal rotation here. Also a really big hamstring stretch. take one more big breath in through the nose. As you exhale, release the twist, facing forward, bend into that front knee. Let's take our vinyasa. So any way that you'd like, from plank, you lower, maybe all the way, or hovering, cobra or upward facing dog. And we meet downward dog, setting ourselves up for the second side. Left leg rises, bend your left knee, open up your hip, really squeeze through the glutes, get your heel close to the seat to lift your knee up. Finding warrior two, left foot between the hands to the top of the mat, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat as you lift on up. Palms facing down, shoulders are directly over your hips. Always trying to see if we can sink a little bit deeper into this pose, while at the same time toning through the thighs as if you were trying to draw the legs in towards one another. Let's straighten the left leg. Bring your back foot in just a couple inches, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Hips go back. Stretch that left arm forward as if you're sliding between two walls, so you're not leaning forward or back. Left hand comes down, right arm extends up. You're welcome to use your block in this pose as well. So the goal here is really not to get our fingertips to the ground. Instead, see if you can keep some length through both sides of your waist and use core strength to hold you in the pose. Push into your feet, come all the way up, and just bring your hands onto your hips. I'm gonna bring my right toes in, so my foot is now at a 45-degree angle, so I'm able to face forward towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, and when you feel that point of resistance, you can drop that right hand down, maybe to a block, maybe to the mat. Continue to roll and rotate that left shoulder open, left arm extends up. One more breath. Very slowly release, bend into that front knee. You can move your block off the mat and take your flow. And we all meet in downward facing dog. From here, let's just walk our feet to the top of the mat. Bend your knees, just hang out in ragdoll again here, maybe holding onto your elbows and swaying a little bit side to side. Release the hold of your arms, bend your knees a little bit more, push into your heels to roll up all the way. And let's come into a wide-legged forward fold, staying standing. You can have your block if you'd like. I'm not going to use it for this one. So feet are parallel to both edges of the mat, hands on your hips. As you inhale, lift and lengthen, and then tilt forward to fold all the way down. So here, if the floor feels a little bit far away, you can have your block for extra support. We're gonna add our twist from this pose. So I'm gonna bring my left hand kind of underneath my head, underneath my face. So it's right in the center of my body. I'm gonna push into my left hand to reach my right arm up. So having a block can be really nice here. You can just be up on your fingertips. Exhale, release, and we'll switch sides. So right hand takes the place of the left, left arm reaches up. Exhale to release. Walk your hands over towards your right foot and right leg. Grab a hold of whatever you can as you fold on in. So just stretching deeper here through the hamstrings and at the same time trying to open up through the left side of our body. Release to second side. Walk your hands to the left. Folding in. Coming all the way back through to center. We're gonna turn our heels in, toes out, bend into your knees. So you're in this wide squat, and we'll bring our hands to the top of our thighs, adding a little bit of a twist here. You're going to drop your right shoulder down, roll that left shoulder back. And at the same time, I'm really using my right hand to push my thigh open a little bit more. And switching sides, left shoulder down, right shoulder back. Back through to center, push to lift all the way up. Okay, our last little bit of challenge, we're gonna do standing pigeon pose, which is already quite tricky, but we're going to add a twist to it. So standing on your left leg, you're going to cross your right ankle over the top of your left knee and start to bend as if you were coming into chair pose and sitting back in your chair, you're leaning back. This is option one. Maybe just hold where you are, hands at the heart, and stay focused on something that's not moving. If you'd like to really challenge yourself, you're going to bring your right elbow to the sole of that right foot, pushing against it and really pushing your hands in towards one another. So adding your spinal twist. If you were in your twist, carefully let that go. Come back through to center. Eagle pose, Garudasana right away. Wrap that right thigh around. Right arm binds under the left one. Bend into both knees. Shoulders down, elbows up, hands move away from your face. And release, unwind. Reach your arms up. And exhale, hands at the heart, and we'll do that same thing to the other side. I know it's tricky, we're almost done. So this time, left ankle over the top of your right knee. Really work at pressing that thigh open so there's a big external hip rotation before you start to bend into that knee and sink the hips down low. Remember, there's already a lot going on. You're welcome to just stay where you are. Otherwise, left elbow to your left foot. Trying to spin and rotate over to the right. Try not to dig your toes into the mat. And we'll lift ourselves back up. We are coming into eagle pose, wrapping the left thigh over the right. Left arm under the right, sinking down low. Keep your knees and elbows facing straight forward. And release. Open up. And exhale, fold all the way down. Let's find downward facing dog. Step the feet back, stretch it all out from here. So slowing down our practice, we're still gonna add a twist. We're gonna come into our pigeon pose from here. Right leg rises, bend your right knee, open up your hip, and come to regular pigeon. So right knee goes behind your right wrist, straightening that left leg back out. And maybe you'd prefer to just stay as you are, or you can add a twist from here. Like thread the needle, you're gonna bring your left arm underneath you, shoulder and ear come down to the floor. And you can always bring your right hand to your lower back if you'd like. Take about 5 deep breaths here. Try to melt into the pose a little more. If you had your twist, you can slowly release it, coming back through to center, and we'll meet back in our downward dog. So tucking the toes under, step the right foot back. And second side, left leg up. And you can bring your left knee behind your left wrist, squaring off through the hips here. Maybe holding in this more neutral and traditional variation of pigeon. Otherwise, you can reach through. slowing down your breathing a little. And we'll release from this side. This will be your last downward facing dog. If you wanted to take an extra vinyasa, now would be the time to do it. Otherwise, just stretch everything out from here. Lengthening out, and knees can come down to the mat. Let's take one last seated twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So with your legs out in front of you, you're going to bend into your right knee and just cross your right foot over the top of that thigh. If your knees feel good and the hips feel good, you can also bend that left knee and bring the heel in. I'm gonna stretch my left arm up towards the sky before bringing my elbow to the knee. So we've been here before. Push against your thigh to help rotate the torso over to the right. And I'm just bringing my right fingertips behind me so I can support myself. I'm trying my best not to slouch or to round. With every twist I do, it's like I'm trying to grow a little bit taller rather than compress and contract. And release. Let's switch sides. Straighten out the legs. You're gonna bring your left knee in, cross that left foot over, and then maybe also bend the right knee. You don't have to, you can always keep that leg straight out if it feels better. Both sit bones should be anchored to the floor. Right arm stretches up to the sky, hook the elbow to the top of the knee, left fingertips behind you. So notice here already I was slouching and rounding. Think of pushing and lifting up tall as you rotate the torso, still pushing into my big left toe. And release, uncrossing the legs. Grab your block and let's lower down. We're gonna place the block underneath our hips. Just gonna turn around here. And you can keep the block at its lowest level. And just place it underneath the hips, underneath the tailbone, coming into waterfall. So all you gotta do is just lift your legs up towards the sky. You might need to play around with your block placement a little bit here. Just doing a really gentle inversion, maybe flexing and pointing the toes or rolling through your ankles. And dropping your feet back down, slowly bend the knees. We'll take a few moments in supported bridge. You can keep the block exactly where it is, or if you'd like, you can lift it up on its second height. And breathing deeply into your belly. Let your entire body relax. We're giving ourselves the opportunity for our spine to come back to neutral, so no more deep twists or lateral flexion. And we'll move the block off to the side. Before coming to Shavasana, just notice if there's anything that would feel good for you in your body so that you can comfortably rest for a few minutes. So that can be bringing your knees in towards your chest or just dropping the knees and thighs down side to side like what I'm doing. It can be something completely different. And whenever you're ready, take up space with your arms and your legs. Close your eyes. And really give yourself this time in Shavasana so that you can properly integrate this work that we've done together. And if you notice your mind beginning to wander, just come back. Maybe focus instead on the flow of your breath. Breathe a little deeper. Move again through fingers and toes, or you can just turn your head side to side. Might feel good to stretch your arms up overhead. And we can roll to one side. We'll come up to take a seat. Close your eyes once you're comfortable. Hands join at your heart. Taking a moment to really pause and observe the effects of your practice. Giving yourself a kind word of recognition and gratitude. And we'll chant Om together one time. Inhale to chant, breathe in deeply. Om. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this twisty flow with me. I would love to know what you thought of this practice. Do leave me a comment before you go. Subscribe if you don't already. It's a great way to support free yoga on the internet, and hopefully we'll practice again together very soon.